On understanding the end times. Today we're in lesson 4, the promise and timing of restoration of the kingdom. Remember that we've set this space already, that the whole Bible, that's what we discussed yesterday, from Genesis to Revelation, has one single unbroken thread that links everything together. It is the golden thread. If once you discover it and begin to follow the thread, it will take you to the end. And that is, the kingdom of Elohim was established on earth in Genesis 1, contrary to religion sees only creation of man. But it was the extension of the kingdom of heaven into the earth. And then we saw that mankind was created to manage it on behalf of Elohim. And in that's Genesis 2. Genesis 3, we see the fall of man, which is all that religion teaches. But in the context of the kingdom, it is the loss of the kingdom. Adam lost the kingdom the Lord gave to him. Adam and Eve handed over the baton of God of this world to Satan. He became legally empowered to steal, kill, destroy, to do all he's been doing until the day. And the entire story of the world is also telegraphed from Genesis chapter 3:15, the seed of the woman, the promise of the seed of the woman. Why? The seed of the woman is the one who will restore the kingdom, who will come as second Adam. The moment you get this into your mindset and frame of mind, everything will fit in. Brothers and sisters, today in lesson 4, the promise and timing of restoration of the kingdom, we need to now go on to understand that when Adam and Eve fell, the poor choices they made to obey Satan rather than Elohim, a number of things happened. One is that there was punishment. We saw that yesterday. This punishment for inclining their will to the adversary rather than to Elohim meant they are spiritually separated from Elohim. That's death. And also, because they've denied themselves the benefits of what was provided in Eden, the life they will now live was going to be a mortal life, no longer immortal. It was not going to be a mortal life. It was going to be subject to pain, disease, all kinds of things. Everyone in different degrees are going to experience some of those things. So, but also more importantly, the nature of Satan, which is evil, rebellion, also they took it on. Because to whom, according to Romans 6:16, know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are, to whom you obey, whether of sin unto death, of obedience unto righteousness. So having submitted themselves to Satan, they took on the nature of Satan, no longer the nature of Elohim. So the door was open for disease, suffering, pain, sweating, to eke out a living, because the command of Elohim in Genesis chapter 3 from verse 16 to 19 is now sweat to eat. The ground is now cursed. It's no longer going to bring forth beautiful fruits for you to eat. It's going to bring forth thorns and thistles. So that's where work, as a principle of life, struggle became institutionalized. Then again, another thing was done right there. Promise of restoration. The ever merciful Elohim did not retain his anger forever. Psalm 103. He provided a way of escape which will lead to restoration of the kingdom which Adam and Eve lost. And that was the promise vested in what is called the seed of the woman that was to come. Now, it is important for us to understand something. Right here, we see the law of process that governed Genesis 1 play out. In Genesis chapter 1, Elohim as the Elohim of the whole universe. He could have just said, "Oh, earth, come into being," and everything will spring forth into being. But he didn't do so. He systematically, let there be this, let there be this, let there be this. For 5 days, he created an ecosystem that can sustain human life in this planet. No other planet. And after that, he now created man and gave him the mandate to take care. So also in the fall, Elohim could have pronounced whatever solution to the sin of Adam and Eve, the rebellion. But he didn't. Rather again, the law of process. He promised the seed of the woman. From the day the promise was made to when Yeshua will come, it took thousands of years. Men and brethren, the law of process was ordained to take effect. The law of process is about Elohim's preferred way. He's a slow cook type of, he does his things in a slow cook way. It's not a drive-by, drive-through McDonald type of, thing. His things are no. That's why you see people who want to just, jump this process and grab things. They are the people getting to crime and all evil, because life is about process. Take your process. One stage leads to another. One stage leads to another. You may get a call from the Lord, but that call requires process. As you see us today, we didn't just begin to teach across the world. There was a process. Was it the plan of the Lord from the beginning? Yes. It was his plan to use us in this global teaching ministry. Even when he told us that, and we shared it prematurely with some people who laughed us to scorn, it was his process, it was his law, it was his good desire. But it took process. Part of the process, he required us to serve other people. So we had to serve in a church. Serve. God taught us that thing, beautiful, but there's a denominational slant to it. So there's something more. And that's how the Lord began the process. And then even when he separated us from denomination in 1996, and we began to serve the body, we didn't go to run things our own way. It was the body. 2001, brought in Apostle Vance and Deb into our lives. And we left what we were doing, say, serve that bigger purpose, that bigger vision they had. And we gave it our all. Everything, money, time, life, everything was laid down to promote a vision that was given to another person, in quotes. And the Lord taught us a principle. If he gives a vision, it's a vision from the Lord. It's not anybody's vision. Somebody can hold the vision. It just happens to be that somebody's holding it. But if it's from the Lord, then it requires everything. And that process, we did that for a number of years. Then 2004, the Lord told them, look, the purpose I used you to start has finished. You hand over. And they obeyed the Lord, handed over. And he asked us to take over. But the Lord said, we just felt in the Lord. Look, how can we just take over now and run everything, everything? He said, Dr. Kos, you take over. Let's remain as coordinators doing the work on the ground. And it took over from 2004 until 2011, when the Lord said, son, this thing won't go further except you take up the mantle. And then during that time, 2004, 2011, he had also processed us in different ways. And when we share with him, everything was done beautifully. And since then, still process. And everything processed. Look at this cost now. When it was first given, it was raw. But it needed to be processed. So every time we teach it, the Lord he puts in a little deep there, he checks up a little bit. The law of process, once you understand it, your life is made easier. You don't strive. You flow with the Spirit. And so Elohim put the process. So even in the matter of manifestation of seed of the woman, it had to take a process. And that process all the way to Noah, to Shem, all the way to Abraham, all the way to David, all the way to his lineage, all the way to the time he came to this earth. Brothers and sisters, we need to understand that when it comes to the kingdom also, the Lord has ordained the law of process. We saw a bit of it yesterday, the previous lessons. And the law of process is a day will come when an individual will hear the gospel, be convicted by Holy Spirit to repent of his sin and embrace the salvation in Yeshua. If you do that, the king, you receive him. If you confess him as Lord, you receive him. Then you are so encouraged to submit to the fullness of his authority to rule you in every department of your life. You become a disciple. So that's one level. And all those who are like that, one kingdom nation. And the time to come when Yeshua will return physically to rule and reign, and all evil will be taken away. And so, brothers and sisters, that second dimension is what is called the manifest or physical phase of the kingdom. It is one thing people have stumbled at because they go approach it with denominated lenses. And with the denominated lenses, they are not able to see that for now the king is ruling in our heart if you submit to him. And a day will come when the king is going to rule physically all over the world. The earth realm he will rule over. And before that happens, a number of things have been ordained to happen. Between this physical time, this time when the king is ruling spiritually in our hearts, and the time when he rules physically in Jerusalem, there will be something huge. And that huge thing is called the rapture. The rapture is something that nobody knows when it will happen. And the day it happens, people will know that the second coming of the Lord is close at hand. If you read 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 50 to 54, now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Elohim, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible have put on incorruption, and this mortal have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. The same principle in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 from verse 13. It says it doesn't want us to be ignorant. Then in verse 14, if we believe that Yeshua died and rose again, even so them that sleep in Yeshua will Elohim bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain shall not, unto the coming of the Lord, shall not prevent them that sleep. We will not prevent them, means we will not precede them, we will not go before them. We don't have any special advantage over them. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, and the voice of the archangel, with the trump of Elohim. The dead in Yeshua shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, and to meet the Lord in the air. So shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words. So between the first coming, where he came to be the Lamb of Elohim, to pay the price, to pay the price for our sin, and his coming when he rule the manifest kingdom, it has pleased the Lord to create a situation where we enthrone him in our heart now. And when we enthrone him in our heart and live faithful to him, if you die before time, you have a hope. 1 second. So if you die before time, have a hope. For the day appointed at the sound of the trumpet, you get a new body, a celestial body with which you are going to live forever. If you are alive, you will also go if he's enthroned in your heart. Now that is a guarantee of the Lord concerning what he will do with us. Sorry. Some hiccup. Okay. And so, by the grace of the Lord, those who are raptured, taking the hiccup. And so, by the grace of the Lord wants us to know that these things are set. They will happen. So, somebody's sleeping. Okay. Give me a break, okay? Just wait. Yeah. Okay, maybe we can break and resume. Let me just take care of this.